All right, we are back, Adversity Podcast, and we're on location today at outside the studio.
No, it's wild, man. We've been talking about doing this for a while. This is pretty cool. This is our first off-site or on-site podcast. We usually do it in the studio, so we're excited that we get to come here with Miss Monica White and at Food Share. And so one of the things I'm really excited about with this one is when Sarah and I first moved to California and opened up the store, we had the opportunity to come here and tour the facility kind of right when COVID started and really got a vast understanding of how this operation works and the magnitude of this operation and how many families you guys are able to help, and especially during that crazy time of COVID.
Yeah, so, that was a crazy one, man. I always say to people that Food Share really stepped it up, and a lot of people were helped during the pandemic. And Adversity Podcast, we talk to real people, and they share their real stories. And this is a great episode that I'm looking forward to today.
Yeah, me too. And I'm really just excited to hear some stories, from Monica that are going to help some of our listeners out there that are in the nonprofit business and help them navigate through some adversities that they've been through.
Well, let's bring her into the conversation. Why don't you officially introduce her?
Well, everybody, this is Monica White with Food Share. She runs this establishment, and she is a beast. Hello, Monica.
I'm not sure if that's good or not.
It's a great thing. It means you're awesome, and we love you dearly.
I like when you use slang, because some people, when they don't get it, they're like, is that a good thing or a bad thing?
Is that going to be all right? Fortunately for us, it's a podcast, right? So there's really no rules. We kind of just make them as we go. Yeah. So it works perfect.
So where did you grow up at? Let's start at the beginning.
Oh my gosh, at the very beginning?
Very beginning.
I am a Northern California girl. Came down here, went to school at USC, and stayed down here because I loved Southern California so much.
Where in Northern California did you grow up?
Actually, San Francisco Bay Area.
Oh, nice. Really? Big city then.
Yeah.
It's a big city.
So how old were you when you left San Francisco?
Well, actually, we made a little stop in Fresno, California. Went to high school there, and then left the fog and the valley to go to school, and just stayed down there.
I worked in Fresno for a while, and this is a story that I've probably shared with one person. I got lost in the roads because it's what is it? Road and lane. They run like certain ways. Really? And they all look the same. And I've never shared this story, and I never take side roads in Fresno no more because of that reason.
That's wild.
Well, it was crazy growing up there in that there was foggy day schedules.
Yeah.
So because the Tule fog was so thick that they would say school is postponed for 2 hours, 4 hours, and sometimes the entire day because the school buses couldn't get through.
Seriously, because it was so foggy.
It was so dangerous to drive.
Wow, that's incredible. I've never even heard of that before. I mean, I know when you fly, that can be an issue, but driving,
it's bad. It's bad in the Fresno area.
Is Fresno elevated?
We loved it.
Oh, I bet. Yeah, it's like a snow day.
Yeah, it was. It was like snow day.
It's like a snow day in a town that gets no snow.
Yeah. How long were you in Fresno for?
Well, it was 6 years, I think.
And then after that, you
went down to school, went to USC, and just stayed down there.
Nice.
Yeah,
how'd you like USC?
Oh my gosh, I love it. My daughter's there right now.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Very cool.
I'm so happy.
What'd you get your degree in?
I was a business major.
Really?
I was a business major and with an entrepreneur emphasis.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
And I picked entrepreneur because I couldn't pick which part in business that I liked.
Really?
Yeah, and I sucked at accounting, so I really loved marketing. So that was
That's really cool.
Another part of my emphasis.
What did you do? Any like side crazy jobs while you were in college getting your?
I did.
What's probably the craziest side job you did?
It's not crazy, but so I was part of the Greek system. I was in a sorority.
I was going to ask you if you were
I was.
sorority girl.
Yeah, I was.
Were you a Tridel?
Yes. How did you know?
You surprised her with that one.
Oh my gosh, I can't believe you guessed that.
Right on the nose too.
And it's funny, my daughter just went through Rush.
Oh,
and,
wow.
And I was hoping maybe that wouldn't that be fabulous if she rushed the same house, ended up in the same house. But nope, she's a Theta. So.
Oh, she a Theta. I love sorority girls.
What has it
they
been?
were my favorite in college.
It's been 30 years. It's like, I'm sure it's a totally different group of girls.
I bet.
Yeah, but they're still just as much fun. It's always fun when we went to the national championship game, the Georgia TCU game. and we were surrounded. I was telling my wife, we were surrounded by all these college kids, and it was just, it brought back so many fun memories of college, just that wild ambition and just freedom of just the
Chance
way
and everything.
Oh yeah, it was nuts. It was super gnarly. So when you finished up at US,
well, wait, so I was telling you my story. So I worked for the Greek system, and while I was there was a newspaper, and it was called the 28th Street Magazine, and it was like a dish, that you write things about people, and Gossip Mag, and it was, so I was the editor of that. And not that I was a journalism major or anything, but so when I came up here and I started working at the Ventura County Star. That was my little bit of journalism experience, but I wasn't a reporter there. I was working in the marketing department, but so I've kind of had this journalism love of newspapers for a very long time.
Wow. And that was a stepping stone, that the other job to come to Ventura County, right?
Yes, there was a little bit in between, some kids and things like that, but yeah, no, when we moved up here, I got a job at the Ventura County Star. I worked there for nearly 15 years in marketing and public relations and community relations. Wow. And that is actually what brought me to Food Share, because I was serving on the board.
Oh, that's cool. And how long have you been with Food Share?
It has been a little over 5 years.
Really? Mm-hmm. Kind of tell us, like I said earlier, one of the things that blew my mind was how organized this whole machine is. I mean, this thing, if you guys ever get a chance to go on Food Share's website, there's all kinds of virtual stuff that you can look at, but I don't think people realize the magnitude of how big this warehouse is in the operation, and how organized you guys are with everything. I mean, it's impeccable. It's mind-blowing, really. So kind of tell us how, go into some of that like you did with Sarah and I when we came through and got to walk through the warehouse, and the amount of people you feed, and was it like for every dollar you feed, or for 70, you kind of go through it, because I can't remember all the specifics, but I know it's impressive.
Well, I'm really glad you and Sarah were able to come in and take the tour, because when we invite people in and they take us up on it, it's such a great way for them to be able to understand the scope of the operation. Like, so many people don't understand. They say, oh, what's a food bank? Is that a food pantry? What's the difference? And I say, come do a tour and then you will understand. Yeah. So as a food bank for Ventura County, there's only one food bank. And what we do is we serve all of the nonprofits, such as food pantries, and provide them food at no cost. And so we have 3 warehouses, and we bring in lots of food, and we get out lots of food. So last year we distributed nearly 20 million pounds of food.
Wow. 20 million pounds. Let that sink in for a minute. 20 million pounds of food just given away.
Yeah.
And that serves a lot of people, as you can imagine. So last year we served unduplicated 220,000 people.
Jeez, that's insane. And I remember seeing videos that Jennifer would post on y'all's social media of just the, where you guys would have the boxes and the cars could drive through. And I think that was during COVID.
We still have it.
Do you really?
We still are doing that. Yes,
oh my gosh.
Almost. It's coming up on 3 years since the start of COVID. We started April 1st, 2020, and it was really cute. We're like, oh, we'll do this for 90 days. Okay, we'll do this for 6 months. Okay, we'll do it through the end of the year. And here we are nearly 3 years later. We're still doing that drive-through distribution in College Park. 900 cars every single Wednesday are still coming through to get emergency food
During
boxes.
COVID, it was every day, almost every day that you guys were doing it, right?
Yes.
So now you're just doing it on Wednesday. And where's it at?
College Park.
College Park on Wednesdays. If you're listening to this podcast and you need some food, College Park on Wednesdays. What time do you guys start?
I think it's at 2:00. But if you're also interested in volunteering, it takes nearly 70 people to help run that distribution every week.
I think that's probably something I'm going to get plugged into, start helping you guys out with.
You would love it. I mean, people, they go and they come and they show up to volunteer. You could sign up on our website, but they come and they come back. That's the thing, because they feel so good about it, and being able to see they're putting boxes of food into the people's cars, and the people are so appreciative, and they're saying thank you so much, and it feels really good to be able to give back that way.
And a lot of people think that hunger is like a third world issue, right? They don't realize that people are going hungry right here in their backyard, and it's a serious issue. I mean, it's a massive issue, and I'm really excited that there is people like you that have taken on this vision, right? And you were on the board, you were saying, and then you went full time. How did that transition kind of happen from going, working at the Star, doing that for 15 years, and then going, okay, I'm going to transition from that into Food Share?
Yes. So I I was let go, actually. So when USA Today, Gannett bought the Star back in 2016, I think it was, I was let go. I didn't fit into all of their organization structure. And to this day, I say it was the best thing that ever happened to me.
That's awesome.
It was great. It gave me the opportunity to take some time off, to be able to figure out, okay, what do I want to do? Mm-hmm. And so when this position opened up, my predecessor had resigned and had moved on to another project. The board, who I still knew, called me and they said, would you be interested in stepping in as the interim CEO? And I said, absolutely. I said that would be great. I knew the staff, I knew the volunteers, I knew everybody on the board, so it was a real seamless transition.
That's really, really cool. So, I think one of the things that we love about this podcast is adversity. And I mean, what kind of adversity can you highlight more than being let go from your job, right?
Yeah.
And then having the wherewithal to kind of power through it and have to be able to say that, like that was the best thing that ever happened to me. I love that. I love that story.
Well, you want to know something else? I'm sharing deep things here. So I lost my mom and my job in the same month.
No,
man, God.
I know.
No way.
My mom passed away from breast cancer in November of 2016, and that was tough.
Yeah.
It was really tough, and it was tough being off work. So I was off work for about 6 months, and my job just defined me. I mean, and I was like, okay, what do I do? What is my next step? And so I feel so fortunate that this came up, because this is my next chapter.
Yeah.
This is exactly where I was supposed to be. This is what I'm supposed to be doing. And everybody that I talk to too says, oh, Monica, I'm so glad that you found where you're supposed to be.
Yeah. That's really, so tell us some highlights that you like about working with Food Share. So just some different things that you can think of that are highlights for you.
I love working with the volunteers. We have the staff of about 35, but we have 3,000 volunteers on an annual basis. Wow. And there's, some who are very regular. They come in every day, they come in every week. And then we also have groups, corporate groups that will come in maybe once a year to be able to do a day of giving or something like that. But everybody who comes in, they're volunteering, they're giving their time, their most valuable asset. It's something that you give it, you're never getting it back.
Yeah,
that's true.
And so for them to be able to come in and say, we want to be able to give you 2 hours of our time or a day of our time, it feels so good, because they're getting nothing in return except for knowing that they're helping those in need.
Yeah. Now, how do your kids, you said, now how many kids do you have? I know your daughter's at USC.
Yes, and I have an older son.
And do they get involved at all up here, or is that kind of something that's resonating in the family now?
Yes, absolutely. They have spent many hours here at Food Share helping me, not voluntold. They have offered to be able to do that.
Voluntold, I like that.
But
see, you got your own lingo too.
Yeah, see, we're all coming around.
But you bring them in for my husband. He puts in lots of hours as well.
He's voluntold for sure,
right?
I'm married. I get it.
Yeah,
I'm voluntold all the time.
We're having an event tonight, and I'm like, yeah, you're going to be there.
That's great. What are you guys doing tonight?
We're having our can tree wrap up party. So every December we have a big event in downtown Ventura where we build trees built out of cans of food. And we build, I think, almost 150 trees, 600 cans each, and then 4 really big ones. They're 15 feet tall, 10,000 cans. It's a sight to be seen.
Oh yeah, that's one of the most creative events that I've seen. And when I heard of you guys were doing it, I was like, man, I want to know who came up with that idea.
It's been 15 years.
Yeah.
So I think Jennifer Caldwell has something to do with the very first one of those. So
Really?
Yeah, that is a great idea, just because everyone gets a visual of it, and then it's helping out a great cause too.
It's a really great way to be able to feel, it's tangible, it's fun, it's exciting, and it's a great way for the community to actually come together and kick off the holidays too.
And then as far as I know, you guys do stuff with the soldiers too, right? Like as far as all the like the candy and different things that come through. Because
you remember that from the tour?
Yeah, I remember the whole conveyor belt and everything, right? Like so that I think that's you guys have really hit so many different niches, right? From military, the people who can't have food, everything.
Yeah. Seniors. We have a program for seniors. We have a program for our unhoused. We have a program for kids. That we look at each market or each demographic and where their special needs are.
Yeah.
And we really try to be able to meet them, what is important to them. We buy culturally important foods for our farm workers. That's another big one, that we are going to the fields and we're actually giving them emergency food boxes there. So we really try to be aware and cognizant of what the different types of needs are. For when someone's hungry, it looks differently on so many different people.
Right. There was as far as tell us kind of what goes in those boxes. Have you've seen those boxes?
Yeah.
And I know they're very strategic in what you guys put in those boxes. What's the idea behind that box?
Well, I think a good example is our senior kit boxes. Those are actually built by a nutritionist. It's a state-run program, but they want to make sure the food they put in there is going to be good for our seniors, not
unhealthy or
not too high calorie, the low sugar, and also it is different every month. So they actually called a prescription of what's being put into that box.
That's really cool.
To ensure that we are meeting the needs of our seniors and getting them food that, one, they like, and two, that's good for them.
That's awesome. How many hours do you think you put in a week in this place?
She loves what she does, so she doesn't count.
Yeah, I feel like it's a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the thing, is that it's ongoing. There's always something to be done. And, I have such an amazing team that it could be 9:00 at night and we're texting each other because we hear about something. Yeah. We want to share something that a big check came in or some news article came out. And so we're constantly in communication, whether or not we're on the clock or not.
Right.
But I know everybody goes above and beyond here. Mambo, that is for sure.
Mambo likes to text me late at night.
He's in silent mode all the time after 9, right?
After 9, it goes into sleep
I already know it.
I don't even know how to get that feature off. Like I'll look down and my phone's automatically like one of those focus features, right, on the iPhone. I'm like, I wake up the next day and I've got all these text messages that have come through, and I'm like, dadgummit.
It forces you into silent mode.
It does. Yeah. It goes into sleep mode like automatically at 9:00. I think my phone's telling me something.
I think
go
Sarah
to bed.
set that up for you.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, I was voluntold to do that.
So I have a question.
Sure.
You when you lost your job and you made that transition to food share, you went through some things. You shared something personal, and I feel like here at Food Share, you kind of deal with a lot of the same issues. I mean, the pandemic, you guys had to figure out a way to get the food to all these people, and you guys came up with a plan to go to them. And what kind of I call it speed bumps. What kind of speed bumps do you run with Food Share that you look back now and say, man, I can't believe we got through that one?
I like that, speed bumps. That's exactly what it was. It's been so when I started in June of 2017, as you remember, December 2017 was the Thomas Fire.
Right.
Okay.
So that was the first one. I was 6 months into the job, and we had a huge increase in the number of people who needed food, who had not necessarily people who had lost their homes, but it was people who were a part of the service community. Mm-hmm. I remember one night, it was after hours, and someone showed up in a pickup truck, and he was a gardener, and was asking for food, and he. And I, of course, even though we're not a pantry, we have emergency food bags for people who do just show up and be able to help them. No one leaves without food here.
Yeah.
And he was telling me his story in that he had lost all of his clients. I mean, wow. in one night, right? That that the neighborhoods were they were gone.
Yeah.
And so he had no way of, he says, I need water, I need food. And it was just heartbreaking, but we were able to, of course, help him and be able to send him onto a pantry that would be able to provide more services. But that's one person that there were so many different people who were affected by it. You know, there was there's housekeepers, there people just, the houses were gone.
Yeah.
There was no more services to be done. And so, as well as a lot of people who were in like, oh gosh, I'm blanking on it, but because it was 5 years ago.
Yeah.
But still, we saw people who were having difficulties, and so we were able to get more food out. So soon after that, we also had the not the Thomas fire, but the Woolsey Hill fire. So we saw the same thing where we had additional people in line for food. And then there was also the government shutdown, where we saw the people at the naval base where they weren't getting their paychecks because the government shut down. And so they were great because we provided a whole bunch of food, and then as soon as they got their paychecks and they still had food left over, they brought it all back.
Wow.
Oh, that's
We're like,
cool.
you guys are so sweet. Thank you, because we wanted to take care of them. And then soon after that, we thought we were like, okay, this is going to be a normal year. And then the pandemic hit, and that's when our numbers they skyrocketed. In the past, we were serving 75,000 people per year, and it went to 220,000 people.
That's amazing.
So it definitely went up, the amount of food that we were getting out. We were getting a lot more donations, which is great for food, but there was so much more going out.
I thought during the COVID time, and you guys started posting the schedule of where you guys were going to be. We started promoting it on our show, and I thought it was so cool that you guys were going out to the people. But it didn't hit me until we started talking about it and saying, hey, if you guys need help, let us know. One of the things that shocked me was how hard it was for people to put their pride aside to get help.
Oh yeah.
Especially men my age. It's like they want to be the provider, and it's hard for them to ask for help. So we dealt with a lot of people, and we got to a point where we felt comfortable enough to tell them, like, yo, you got to put your pride aside and just think of your family. It's not just you going through it. The world is going through this.
You hit on something so relevant to what we see too, is that when we have people who come here, and it's a man and a woman, and 9 times out of 10, it's the woman who comes in.
Yeah.
The man can't even do it.
Yeah.
There's a pride. But I think when it comes down to it, the woman's like, no, I'm providing for my family, whatever it takes. I'm going in and I'm getting food. Because there's a lot of, they don't want to be judged. They're scared of being judged. And that's something that we pride ourselves on, that we don't ask for tax returns. We don't ask for anything. That if someone shows up for food, that is enough evidence for us.
Yeah.
If they're willing to wait in line for food, they're going to get food from us. So, and they're treated with respect. They're not judged. And I think they're very happy when they leave, or when they go through the drive-through distribution, that someone says, bye, thank you for coming. Have a nice day. Yeah. And they're like, oh my gosh, like I'm treated like a real person. I'm not being looked down upon because I actually need help. And that's something that our it's a culture of food share, is that no, we're here to help you.
Yeah.
We're not here to judge you.
It's funny. One of the guys I was helping, I think he was driving the truck. Oscar. He's a friend through the show. I thought he was working for Food Share.
Yeah. Oh no, he was for a while.
He was telling me that he started as volunteering a lot. And I was just thinking, like, man, that is so dope, because his business was shut down during the pandemic. So for him to do that, I was like, man, like it's just crazy to me how sometimes like doing something like that will take you to a different world and see other things. And he was sharing stories with me where I started sharing some of the stories from our listeners. Like, they didn't want to put their pride aside to go get help. But when he was sharing some of the stories, he was telling me like, yo, in Santa Paula, we're setting up over here. And it's like, I know he's a Marine, so he used those skills to help Food Share put a lot of these
He was
these things together.
instrumental in helping us set up all those drive-through distributions.
And it's crazy because I dealt with them through what's the gifts the Marines do, the toy drives, the Toys for Tots.
Mm-hmm.
He was in charge of that, and I was like, oh yeah, this dude has his stuff together.
Oh yeah, when he would put those the pylons up,
yeah,
to be able to keep people, they were straight. They were perfect.
Yeah,
we're like, if you want that done, you give it to Marine.
That's right. That's right.
So Josh mentioned earlier how it's a problem all the time, but I think sometimes people just think of disasters or something to happen, and that's when you guys step in. But this is a ongoing problem, right?
Every day.
Yeah.
Every day.
So I want to ask you a personal question. How many times do you cry a year from hearing? Because I get emotional about when one story, and you deal with these stories like every single day.
I'm probably a little more reserved in that I don't cry probably that much, but I will tell you a time I did cry, and that I was writing a speech for our annual event. It's called Fed Up, that we had right out here, right in the street.
Mm-hmm.
And we had 300 people come, and I had written this speech that I was going to be giving at the event, and I read it to my husband, and I couldn't get through it. I teared up, and I'm like, oh no, this is not going to be good. Nobody wants to see a bawling woman, unable to control herself, talking about Food Share. And it actually at the event, I nailed it. I did not cry, but I actually pride myself on just, it's a business.
Yeah.
Right. I'm a businesswoman, and I'm running a business, and we are feeding people. But I can't go there. I really can't, because it's heartbreaking.
Yeah.
Every single person who has a story has a different reason for being in the position that they are, whether it's circumstances under, out of their control, or decisions that they've made,
mm-hmm.
but the price they should not have to pay is hunger. So,
yeah.
That we love to be able to serve anybody and everybody, regardless
mm-hmm.
of how they got to that position. And some people, how long do they have to wait to be able to say that I need help now?
Right.
And who are we to judge?
Right.
To be able to say, well, wait a minute, you're driving a car.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So what? Should they have to sell the car before they have to go get help? And the thing is that you can't pay 90% of your rent. You can't pay 90% of your car payment. And in order to be able to continue to go to your jobs, because we're serving working families, where do they cut it? They cut it in food. And so that's where we come in, and that's where we can help.
Yeah, it's amazing. I was thinking about that when you kept the no judging piece. I remember that hit me really hard, because I remember those pictures of those lines, right? Those distributions, and you'd see some really nice cars in those lines, right? Mm-hmm. Then you just think, man, what circumstance did that person go through, where it's almost like they were here, right? Now they're down here. It just, and to have that resolve to go in that line, right? And be in your nice car, mm-hmm. and sitting there and having to wait, and then you get the food. And like you said, to be treated like a human being, right? Not someone walking up and going, sir, you're driving a Porsche. I don't think
we've seen any Porsches.
I don't think we can feed you, sir. It's a nice Cayenne you got there. You just keep on going, but it's serious. It
is. And we actually, a story that has been told many times here is that someone drove up in a very nice Escalade, and asked for, and said they needed food. And the person ended up breaking down and crying. I didn't cry, but sharing that they were living in the Escalade.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah. That's what it had come down to, that they had lost their home. and their car was the last thing that they had. And who are we to judge that?
Yeah, that's because you're right. Like you can't stop making your car payment or they'll come get it. Mm-hmm. You can't stop making your house payment
or they'll come.
Well, they'll kick you out, and then you don't have anywhere to go and you're hungry on top of that. It's a very unfortunate situation to be in. I'm really glad you guys are knocking that out, because like I was saying earlier, hunger is such an issue. And if you don't have food, you don't have that energy, right? I mean, I can remember times when I would do these fasts when I back in my pastor days. I'd do these fasts for different reasons. A day without food, you're feeling it. Your body, your brain doesn't function the same way. Your body feels weaker than without it. It's just, there's a huge issue that you have to navigate through if you don't have food. It's like the most basic thing that you have to be able to have. One of the things that I wanted to talk about too is you referred to you guys, you said you're not a pantry. Mm-hmm. So I don't think a lot of people know the difference between a food bank and a food pantry.
That's good. Yeah, that's a very valid question. It's probably the number one question I get. So as the food bank, we serve pantries. And so our job is to purchase, rescue, glean, wherever we can get any food that is still is still good, like the retail stores. Every day they have food that they no longer can sell because of the best by date, but it's still good. Right. So every day we are rescuing food from all of those retail partners. We bring the food in and then we get it out to pantries. We get it out through drive-through distributions, shelters, homes, anybody who is serving food insecure people. They're getting the food from us at no cost, zero. We don't charge a penny. We don't even charge for delivery. And so we're helping all of those nonprofits to be able to serve those who are in line. So we're not a pantry, so to speak, in that our doors aren't open and saying, please come in and get food to clients, but we're the Costco. We're serving all of those. It's 190 different nonprofits that we're working with.
That's amazing.
That is amazing.
That is just, it blows my mind.
Yeah, I heard that earlier in the combo before we started the podcast, and I was like, wow, like they're providing the food for a lot of the pantries locally too.
Yeah.
When did food shares actually start? Like when?
1978. 1978, there was a group of very generous faith-based friends who decided to be able to feed some people who were in need. This is, 44 years ago. Mm-hmm. And they started in their garage. And so they started collecting food and bringing food in and then getting to it. I think they were going to some homeless that were living under a bridge in Ventura. And then they started to be able to, where they could find food was they were going to farmers and they were saying, can we take whatever, produce or whatever you have in your fields that you haven't gleaned? Because, when they go over it and they collect it, some of it's not good, it's not pretty, they just missed it. So they were literally following those tractors and gleaning that food and getting that out. And so the very first year that they did this group of 8 people, 35,000 pounds. I think we do that now in 3 hours.
Wow.
35,000 pounds in 1 year. And then compare that to the 20 million pounds of food that we're doing now. So they started there. They outgrew the garage. They went to a fire station in Saticoy that was leased by the city of Ventura for $1 a year. And they outgrew that because they got this government contract through USDA that we still have today. And they needed more space. So they got this warehouse across the street. And through the years, we've been here 37 years now, I think. They expanded that, added a huge cooler and freezer. We bought the warehouse across the street. We expanded both of these back, these sheds on the back to be able to get more room. And then we also have leased another 10,000 square feet in another warehouse. So a total of 46,000 square feet of where we're at today.
That's amazing.
Josh, when you were born, those 8 guys were out there creating this.
That's right. That's right.
It's so 8 guys started this. Well, how many?
Not guys.
Ladies.
And men. So her name is Jewel Petty, and she is still alive today. We adore her. She lives in Bullhead City, and she calls in every once in a while, like, Monica, you still feeding people? Like, oh yes, we are, Jewel. We've taken your lead, and we're doing it.
So from the 8 that started, how many people are here now? Not including the volunteers that help out with the whole operation.
They are still in contact with us. Lynn and Virgil Nelson were 2 of those other founders. They check in all the time as well. They still donate.
Wow.
It is great to be able to bring them back in, to be able to show them how far we've come through their incredible, start.
Man, that is such a great story right there.
Yeah, it's really cool. It's really cool. So I want to go back to USC, this journalism.
All right.
This journalism gig. So you were doing what you were doing these like gossip columns, right?
Yes.
So give me a fun gossip story from back in college. Monica,
was it like TMZ stuff?
Yes,
or
that's right.
Okay.
And
right.
Was it like based on the college kids
yes.
or just?
Yes, it was so and so was seen leaving this fraternity house at 4 a.m.
Oh,
wow! So you were doing my feature, Dilemma of the Day, before.
Who was doing the walk of shame?
The walk of shame.
I bet they were avoiding you a lot.
I'm so proud.
Yeah, nobody wanted to see Monica. Monica's sitting out in the front yard like, oh, you're going to be in this one tomorrow.
Well, it was funny. We had a page. It was called Pandora's Box, and actually, in the way, because this is pre-internet and all this, so the way we were able to get to the gossip, who was doing the walk of shame, we had a message machine, and so you would call in, "Hi, you've reached Pandora's Box. What would you like to report?"
That's amazing.
And then we would just write them all out, and I make sure that anything that said anything about Monica Wakefield, as I was at the time, I make sure I took that out.
We saw Monica walking out of the house, the Sigma Chi house. It was like 3:30, and she was walking a little sideways.
So this was a weekly.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
I feel like we should bring that back and just all the newsletters you guys mail out for Food Share, just nice little slide in there, back page.
Well, and what's funny is, so I did my, so I was an entrepreneur major, and so we had to do a business plan. It was my senior year, and what was I going to do my business plan on? It was expanding this newspaper to other college campuses, and what would that take, and is there money in it? And so I did the whole plan, and found out that no, there is no money in it, and it was not going to work. And so the business plan proved that don't do this, and I actually won as the best business plan of the year.
Way.
Even though it was showed that it was a failure.
If you think about what you were doing, that's Facebook and TMZ combined.
Oh
now.
Yeah.
Like you could have been a billionaire.
I know. You could have been that guy. You could have been pale like all the other billionaires. You seen how pale those memes? How pale these guys are.
I could wear a hoodie.
That's right. You'd be like Mambo.
This is my Monday through Friday outfit.
I love it. I love it.
Well, yeah. Normally I do wear jeans. We're having our event tonight, so normally you would see me in jeans. I could say I work in a warehouse. I'm allowed to.
I was thinking you just dressed up because we were coming.
Oh yeah, that's
that's what I.
I'm sorry, yes, I was.
That's what I. That's what I took from that. So as you transitioned from USC and you got into the paper, how have you been able to apply all that knowledge that you had, even, as we joke around about the gossip column, but it was kind of what helped lead you into working for the Star. How have you been able to kind of apply that marketing, that media, that attribute to Food Share? Because that's probably something that's gone to a different level since you've taken over because you had that experience.
Yes. I'm definitely a marketing person. That was my first 30 years, I guess, of my job. So I worked for Disney actually before I moved up here. And I worked for doing marketing for them too. So the first thing I did when I got here, and I was like, this logo has to go. It was a cornucopia, and it was old. It was old school. We had it for a very, very long time. We've only had 3 logos in 43 years. I mean, that's just, it's crazy. So Jennifer Caldwell and I, we sat down and we figured out what would represent Food Share in this next reiteration, our next chapter of what that was going to look like. And so that's why we came up with this, with the jewel. That's what we call the heart there, after our founder, which, represents caring, giving back. And we love this so much. As you can tell, we plaster it on everything. We branded all of our trucks, which are great because people say all the time, oh, I see food share trucks all over the place, which is, they're moving billboards.
Yeah.
So hopefully that reminds them to either come and volunteer or
donate or something.
Yay, maybe you have food you want to donate to us. So, every opportunity that we could brand ourselves, as the food bank for Ventura County, we got that out there.
That's really cool. Yeah, because I know we get quite a few, pieces in the mail that are always talking about what you guys are doing. The opportunity to donate is in there, and then there's always, some fun facts kind of about different staff or whatever. So
you read it. I love that.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I love it. And I mean, but that's kind of why I like this podcast, because I didn't know that you were the journalism side of you. So it just like seeing all that, it makes total sense now. And it's helpful.
Well, the first thing I had to do was hire a marketing person, though, because I knew I would just get so sucked into this. So we have an amazing marketing person, Vivian Minton. She has helped us so much with our website, with the newsletters, everything that you've seen. She took that foundation of the branding and then has expanded on it. And she's so good at going out and getting those stories too, talking to people of those different faces of hunger and what types of people are volunteering, giving people the impetus to be able to say, hey, I can go do that.
Yeah, it really is. It's a big, I suggest you continue to do that, because it is a big benefit for people that are connected, to kind of remind you of, hey, we're still here, guys. And then still, when I see those trucks everywhere, so when you're getting it in the mail and you're seeing it on the, you're seeing it on the road and you see it online,
we don't give you a break.
No, you shouldn't. I mean, you're feeding 220,000 people a year now.
Yeah.
I mean, just the expense structure of that.
Yeah,
has to be dramatically changed.
Our budget, even though we own these buildings free and clear, so we don't have that cost, but it's still $8 million a year that we have to raise every year just for our operating cost.
That's amazing.
Yeah,
that's amazing.
So where we get that, about a third comes from individuals, another third comes from government grants, and then another third is from like organizations, corporations, foundations. So it's pretty diversified, which lets me sleep at night knowing that.
Do you still have to do events to?
Yeah.
To.
Yeah. The events are to me the fun part,
right.
Because it's a great way for us to be able to share with the community what we do. And anytime I can get anybody in here, that it's a win, because people understand. Just like when you and Sarah came, you get it, you see it, and you're like, okay, how can I help? What can I do? One of the things that we brought back actually since I'm not going to say COVID's over, but post-COVID maybe, is that it's called Food for Thought, and it's a monthly lunch and tour with the CEO.
Oh, that's cool. When does that do? When do you do that?
So you can find it online on foodshare.com, but you can sign up, and it's about 20 people show up, and it's fun. It's an intimate way to be able to actually sit down and ask me questions and then we give them a walking tour of two of our facilities, and be able to really give them kind of behind the scenes, of how does food share really work.
Right.
And a lot of the people who have shown up are people who may get our newsletters, they may get our mailers, they're interested in it, but they just don't know quite what it is. And having this group kind of gives them they feel good about not, because they don't want to have just Monica give them a single tour. That people, they're shy.
So you get very, very creative in doing your things. I've noticed that when it comes to the marketing side, your tours.
We have an amazing development team. Yes.
And then all the info that you're sharing with us is on the website too, right? For people that want to volunteer or donate too.
Yes. So it's all online. So, and we also have an app, which is really cool.
Really?
Yeah, we do.
That's pretty neat.
We have one. And the best thing about the app is there's a function called Find Food Now. that if somebody needs food or somebody wants to help somebody find food, they can click on it and it will show them what is open right now within 5, 10, 15 miles of where they are.
Wow.
It actually sees your location.
Really?
And so that was new. That was a big thing for food banks. To be able to have that kind of technology. And so other food banks have actually been using what we've developed.
And so you just basically highlight different pantries that is it pantries that you're partnered up with, or is it only pantries you're partnered up with, or is it?
Which is all of them.
All of them. So there's not a pantry out there that you guys don't.
Well, there might be one or two that may not be part of our network, but I would say 99% of the hunger relief organizations out there are partnering with us.
And there was a fact you gave us and I can't remember the number, but how much money feeds a certain amount of families, right? Is it, it's like $70 or is it's $25 will feed 3 families kind of deal? What's that? You hear that 75 cents a day, you can feed a starving child kind of deal. And when we were kids, we would do, okay, whatever. But it's true. Like
it is true.
It's really true.
So our metric is $1 provides 3 meals.
$1 provides 3 meals.
Mm-hmm. So you just times by.
That's right. Because $25 would do. Because we were when we partnered up with them, we took money for every car and we set it aside. And it was cool because we were like, I think it was $25 a car. And we were like, this is 75 meals every time we sell a car.
Correct.
That's where I'm getting all my numbers.
Yes, that's where
Every time we sold a car, it was 75 meals that we were being able to put into Ventura County.
I love those types of creative, fundraisers, ways to be able to partner with our business community in organizations or anybody. People have so many creative ways of how they want to be able to give back, and we like to be able to, meet them however they, would like to be able to design something.
Yeah, it was a really neat. It was really neat getting to partner up with you guys during that, and especially for us being new to the community and that kind of being our MO of what we wanted to do. Be very involved, and I'm kind of one of those guys that's I want to feed people, coming from that pastoral background. You want to clothe people, you want to feed people, you want to help people out. And I'm really looking forward. COVID kind of put all of us in a weird spot, right? Because at the store, we just didn't have any employees for the longest time. So we were just grinding away. And then, you got a marriage and a kid and all those things that go into it as well. And, and it was, and my wife and I both run the store, so we were both just grinding it out. And I think now that we're kind of coming, what you said, post-COVID kind of deal, I'm really looking forward to getting re-involved with you guys because I love the vision. I love the personnel here. You and Jennifer are just amazing human beings. It's always so warm when you come in here. And I strongly recommend any of our listeners to give this place, come in and volunteer with this place because it's a legitimate opportunity for you to give back to your community. And it's awesome.
Yeah. I mean, those food for thoughts are, I think, a best way to be able to just see what it's all about. See if you're interested.
I definitely need to get a tour because in all the years I've been here and worked with you guys, I never knew you guys were here. And it's pretty amazing how the operation works. And you shared a lot of great information today, I think.
Well, we'll definitely give you a tour before you leave.
Yeah. I want that CEO one. Is this like the VIP one? Because I know you got a busy day today. So
I'll give you the nickel tour.
Okay,
I'll take That's awesome. Let him pull the rope or whatever.
We don't have that anymore. No.
Oh.
Yeah. He's talking about we have a rope to open the big huge cooler, and when we have the Girl Scout troops, they fight over who gets to do it.
Yeah. we did it then in that video, and I think Tyler edited some like sound in there. It was like ding. The door opened up and I have this smile on my face. I'm like all excited.
Oh, that's funny.
So where can people get more information if they need help, if they want to volunteer, or if they just want to donate?
Thank you for asking the best question. Our website is the very best way to be able to find out all that information. People always ask, they say, how can I help, Monica? And I say, there's 3 things you can do. We can use your dollars, we can use your food, and we can use your
time.
Hours. Yes, in your hours. So, and all three of those you can find on our website, foodshare.com. It's not .org.com. If you can find there, you can sign up to volunteer. You can donate. Lots of different ways to give. We accept crypto now, which is our newest thing.
Wow.
You're ahead of the game on everything.
Look at you.
Check us out.
Oh, she's all excited about that one too.
Yeah.
We take crypto.
I think Jen came in the other day. I think she said we got our first donation for the crypto, and I think it was like $1 or something.
So it was
everything.
It was like 1/25 of a Bitcoin.
It's okay. We're ready. We're crypto ready.
I think it's so cool when you think of a nonprofit like this, like people donating, but you guys are ahead with the app. I thought when you said like, oh, I changed the logo, which is a nice logo, but you're accepting crypto as donations, like that's ahead of the game. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And the social media, I mean, all the things you guys have been doing, I mean, it's really it's ahead of the game.
So the only thing we're missing, not the only thing, but one of the things that we have not done yet is TikTok. We just have not gotten there yet.
Oh, yeah. I'm staying away from TikTok too, personally.
Yeah, I'm not. The podcast is on TikTok. I am not on TikTok. I think a buddy of mine once said, I tried to get on TikTok and all I saw was like these high school girls dancing around all over the place, and I deleted my account.
It's dancing. It's people sharing their dances.
Their dance moves.
Yeah.
You should get a TikTok, Mambo. I think you'd look good.
I'm definitely not a dancer. I'm not a dancer. Yeah.
Doing some dance moves.
Yeah.
We'll do them together.
No.
We can sync them in.
No, we're good. No? We're good doing this, the podcast. Let's stick to the podcast. Yeah, but thank you so much for your time. We appreciate you taking the time to talk to us. This was a great episode. I think a lot of information is going to be shared, not only to our listeners, but we've worked with you guys in the past, and I'm pretty sure we're going to continue to work. And again, thank you so much. I know you have an event tonight, and this is a busy day for you, so we appreciate you taking the time to talk to us.
No, thank you for coming out for your first off-site.
Yeah, this is the first
off-site.
One. Yeah,
we're pretty excited about it.
And it should be at Food Share.
And it went great too.
That was perfect.
Yeah,
we loved it.
Now,
Foodshare.com, right?
Foodshare.com.
Foodshare.com.
Thank you so much.
That should be your radio voice. Yes. Go to foodshare.com and donate today.
All right. Thank you guys for checking out the podcast. And thank you once again for your time. And we'll catch you again on the next one.
Thank you. Bye.